G'day and welcome to this Australian Open Life. We tell stories and our story is tennis. And the story today is again live, backing up for the second day in a row, following the lead, the example set by the unseeded Aussies, Kubler Rinky Hijikata, demolishing the number one seeds yesterday. Koolhof and Skupski of Great Britain and the Netherlands, and they demolished those guys. Saw the highlights last night, and boy, did those guys go a treat. So we're in for it today. The Australians are in great form. They'll be looking forward to this match, and just a quick intro. We're just waiting for the match to start, and it's already started. There you go. So now we can relax and get into it. Well, we're into the first set, and it's the Latin combination of the Argentinian Zeballos. Horacio, I believe his first name is. Don't get many Horacios these days, especially on a tennis circuit, partnering the Spaniard Marcel Granollers. So if I've got those pronunciation wrong, help me out with that one. These are the number 8 seeds, and they are they're serving, and let's see, they've served out the first game. Quick, smart. That can't be right. You can't tell me they won the first game in 2 minutes. Come on. Come on, get with it. Oh, dear. So we'll settle into this slowly. There's no need to rush. This Australian Open Life, this is only our second ever live stream, and we're pretty much running around with L plates on yesterday as Hijikata and Kubler are about to serve. The change of ends, I expect. They've just gone straight to their chairs after losing that first game to the Latin pairing, and I would say that they're not feeling too nervous at this stage. It's pretty common, isn't it? Losing the first game of a semi-final. I wouldn't be too worried if I was them. And as they serve the first point, Hijikata and Kubler, and I'm so sorry, I can't actually tell you who is serving out of that pair. I'm calling this point by point off a live score broadcast website. The browser has just updated and told me that they've won the first point. So I'm going to stick with the first names of the number 8 seeds, Horacio and Marcel. 1-love up in the first game of the first set of this men's doubles semi-final between the unseeded Australians and the number 8 seeds. The Australians absolutely steamrolled. They went through that first set yesterday like nobody's business, and it's now 15-all in their first service game of this semi-final. And yesterday the Australians played out their debut Grand Slam final on Kia Arena. and today they're on Rod Laver. And if you're listening to us online and watching the broadcast, that's probably the best way to do it. And if you've got any comments for us at all, please drop them into the chat box. Bit of housekeeping. This is an audio-only commentary, and we're not in 4K. We're using a software called Open Broadcast Studio, and because it's free, so that's the way we do things. Low cost, low maintenance production here from the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. We're a local media production house, and we like to bring unique, strategic, differentiated content. So this is one way for us to stand out from the international broadcasters and bring you some insights that you might not see or get through them. Because let's just admit it that even men's doubles at ATP Grand Slam level is pretty off Broadway these days. Doesn't actually bring in the sponsorship dollars. But I tell you, Hijikata and Kubler at 40-15 up. Could it be that Jason Kubler is leading off the serving for this team again, because he was red hot yesterday, and with the benefit of hindsight and catching up on a few news articles after yesterday's match, we'll run through those in due course as their opponents pull back to 40-30 with I'm going to say it's Kubler serving. And so if you're watching this match on free-to-air TV, not just in Australia but around the world, but it's hard to get a look in at these matches, and this will be good for these guys and the Australian tennis community and tennis fans as it now goes back to deuce. So here's the first test for the Australians, and it'll be interesting to see how they go today, because they really weren't put under pressure at all yesterday, and they were happy with that, because they've dropped a point there, so they're under their first service break point that they never faced a break point yesterday for the entire match. So hopefully they can come back and bring it back to deuce, and they saved a match point in the main draw round immediately before their quarterfinal. The match that got them through the quarterfinal yesterday, they did save a match point in the second set and went on to win the match. So, but it's early days for this particular semi-final. So as Kubler serves, and it's saved that break point. So that leads me into a nice little segue that we'll be profiling each player separately during each set. And if it does go to a third set to decide this semi-final, we'll be profiling the opponents from Argentina and Spain. And apologies, I'm not going to continually risk mispronouncing their names. Horacio and Marcel. We're now on deuce. Kubler serving to get through the first service game of this semi-final at Rod Laver Arena, Melbourne Park, the 2023 Australian Open. And happy Australia Day, the 26th of January 2023. It's a really pleasant day. Temperature was a bit humid yesterday, and today it's gone down after being about 32 degrees yesterday and pretty humid, that the Australians have just gone advantage. So hopefully they'll wrap up this game very quickly. And today, but the weather, it's a very pleasant 21 degrees. It won't get much higher than that today. And out on court, I would say out on court might be a little bit warm, but they'll be having a nice, comfortable time of it out there on court. And if you're there yourself, and if you're there yourself watching this live on Rod Laver Arena, well done you watching this match. So we'll just go back to the score there and see if they've closed it out. And well done to the Australians. They've closed out their first service game. We can take a breath and relax. They had to work for it a bit, actually. It went 15 love, 15 all, 30-15, 40-15, 40-30, deuce. Advantage to the number 8 seeds. They weren't able to break the Australians, and the Australians only needed one more point to close out that first game. So it's both teams off to a good start, holding their serves, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this match pans out. So what can we tell you? We'll probably just ease our way into this game and just see how things run. But I can tell you that these guys, the number 8 seeds, now where's that stat? I'm just looking for... here we go. This is the one I was looking for. I was just interested in their run-up to this particular semi-final. And these guys, why are they number 8 seeds? They've started off the year, they went to Auckland, and they played the doubles there on a hard court in Auckland, and they got as far as the semi-final there, I think it was, and they lost in straight sets. But how's this for a competitive final, a doubles final? It went 7-6, 7-6, and they lost the tie breaks in those 2 sets. They lost the title 7 points to 5 in each set. Now, you don't see that very often. You don't see that very often at all. And obviously, they're keen to make up for that. They just went bang, bang, bang to 40 love, and they've just cleaned up. So both Horacio and Marcel have won their opening service games. The number 8 seeds are 2-1 up in this semi-final. So we're going to just remind you of a bit of housekeeping as we go through this stream, that I've got a chat function there open in case you want to contribute, because it is a conversation that I'd like to host. Interested to learn any insights or facts and figures, because I know there's a lot more people out there far more experienced and expert in the world of tennis, or maybe you're like myself, that you follow the Australian Open closely when it's on. Well, share your thoughts. Let's have a conversation. Pick me up on any shortcomings in terms of facts and figures. I'm not too big on stats. I'll admit it again today. Stats don't really float my boat. They tend to sink it. I'm not really a stats or a numbers kind of guy. And I'll tell you why shortly as we get into the profiles of the Australian players. The other bit of housekeeping, if you do want to join the chat, you do need to be a subscriber. And I'm just going to finish off by saying you can subscribe today and join the conversation, but you've got to wait 20 minutes until that becomes available. And perhaps when you do join the chat, and if you are watching the live broadcast, or you're there at Rod Laver Arena, perhaps you can explain the medical timeout. There's a medical timeout. You don't often see these. Now, the browser that I'm on for this live score site isn't giving any details to that degree about who's needing the medical timeout. Now, I'm hoping it's not Jason Kubler. I'm hoping that he hasn't gone over on one of those dodgy knees that he's got, because Jason has a lifetime history of knee problems. So let's just go in there. I'm going to assume it's Jason Kubler. I saw the highlights of him last night, and he was in rude health. So I'm hoping it's not him, and I'll tell you why. Because if you look into his history as a player, he's had terrible trouble with his knees throughout. He's got a hereditary knee condition, this guy. And he's had 4 knee surgeries since he was a teenager, 3 on his left knee and 1 on his right knee, because he has torn a meniscus 3 times in his left and 1 time in his right, and he's worked his proverbial off to get back into professional tennis, and since 2018 has been slowly coming back bit by bit. Incredibly resilient character, and it's the last couple of years he's managed to find his feet and restore himself to the life on the circuit as a tennis professional at ATP level. No mucking around at challenger level for him, and I'm hoping like hell that it's not him doing the medical timeout, because I was able to see the highlights last night after just doing a bit of self-auditing, checking how the live stream went yesterday, just listening to a replay. And it could be that the medical timeout might have... I better check the Age website. I better check the broadsheet to see if they've got any update. But no, the Australians yesterday, great energy. They were flying around the court. Rinky Hijikata at 21, a real live wire around the court, and it was fantastic to see, because I've never really watched him live. I'm just scrolling through looking for the tennis section to see if there's anything on the Age site, and there's everything but. So just bear with me, and we'll just check back to the live score. They haven't resumed. So if you're just joining us and you are not watching a broadcast, the semi-final men's doubles at the Australian Open 2023 between the unseeded Australians and the number 8 seeds, the Argentinian teaming up with the Spaniard, playing the homegrown combination of Hijikata and Kubler, Marcel from Spain, Horacio from Argentina. The match is suspended for a medical timeout, and they've played 3 games. The match has gone 13 minutes, and the number 8 seeds are leading 2-1. That's the current state of play. So I'll just go back to this other browser and see, I'll tell you what, the headlines today, while I'm searching for the tennis headlines, my goodness, there is just so many things going on around the country and around the world at the moment. So the Age website is telling me the same thing. I'll just click this and see if there's any text to accompany the score. No, there's not. All right, so we'll just leave that there, duplicate that page. If anyone... Oh, here we go. They've resumed, I think. Oh, okay. So that's helpful. So the live score site that I've been using to generate this commentary, it just quickly flashed up that the medical timeout was for our Argentinian. It was Horacio needing the medical timeout, and I think they've resumed playing. And so just to make sure that we all know where we stand, it's the Australians, most likely Rinky Hijikata having his first service game of this semi-final, and they've resumed, and the Australians, it's 15-all in this fourth game of the first set, and the match has been officially running 14 minutes. And you might have noticed that it was scheduled for a 2:30 start. And I'll tell you what, the Australians, they must have nerves of steel, these guys, because, again, they had to wait. Not as long as yesterday, as they go 30-15 up. Yesterday, the match was delayed by 90 minutes to a 4 o'clock start. And I would say, if we just spend some time just discussing player fitness, I would say that both sets of players yesterday would have appreciated that lengthy delay, because you might be surprised to know, as the Australians now lead this current game 40-15, so I'd expect them to wrap it up from here, because I would say if I was taking a medical time out and you'd want another change of ends, or get to the next change of ends and just sit down and rest your body for a bit, depending on, of course, I've got no idea what he was being treated for. But the Australian Open in the first week, in the first 2 to 3 days, or was it the first day? But there was definitely nearly 2 days of rain, which we haven't seen for a while during the Australian Open, delaying play. Last year there was a lot of rain, but mainly overnight and in the morning, that the courts dried off as the Australians drop a point. It's now 40-30. But so the draw suddenly became very compressed, a lot of juggling. So it turns out that the result, being a knock-on effect, that these men's doubles finals are being played in quick succession. Normally the doubles guys and girls would get a day or a day and a half in between matches. For the Australians, they're playing pretty much 24 hours after their last match. So a medical timeout for the Argentinian, not a great start in the first set of this semi-final. So the Australians have wrapped up that game. Well done, you. It went to deuce. No, it didn't go to deuce. It went 40-15, 40-30, but Hijikata, I'm tipping, was serving in that particular game. And the Australians have levelled it up. So that's a great start, a nice even start that they've come out, hit a nice rhythm. They're matching it with the number 8 seeds. They'd be really, they'd have nothing to fear today after steamrolling the number 1 seeds yesterday. It was an absolute demolition, and it was very nice to watch the highlights later on and just see how dominant they were, as I expected. And the serving was something else. They only lost, I think they lost 4 points. I'll just check this actually. I've just got this saved over here somewhere. That they never faced a break point yesterday, obviously, winning in straight sets, but they only lost 9 points on serve in just over an hour. So there's no reason for them to be too nervous about today. Of course, there's they won't have faced these guys before, because if you didn't know this already, but Hijikata and Kubler, they have never played together before. They're really, actually, their day job is singles, ATP singles, and it's great to see the guys in the singles, having a crack at the doubles, because why not? And as the combination of Marcel and Horacio, the Argentinian and the Spaniard, go 30-love up in the 5th game of the first set, which has been going for 18 minutes. It looks like if the next 2 games go like this, we might get to a first set tiebreak, but it's early days yet. But what it seems to me is that the Argentinian and the Spaniard are definitely strong on their service game. So it looks like the Australians are really going to have to pick their moments and execute those break points as they lose that game. It's now 3-2 to the number 8 seeds, and I would say, I'm guessing because I'm not watching, but I would say Kubler is up for a serve. Let us know in the chat box if you're with us. Drop a couple of comments in, or we've got a poll up there. Just a nice innocent question. If you think the Australians can get up today, and if you're undecided, you can nominate that as well. So as we go into this 6th game of the first set, a quick profile of Rinky Hijikata. He's 21 and he's ranked in the top 200. He's 169. His doubles ranking is actually, where is it? Just waiting for that to come up. His doubles ranking is 277 at the moment, and only turned pro about a year and a half ago. But I remember profiling him last year, actually, that he was given a wild card into qualifying, and we're at a change of ends, so there's no play at the moment. The first set, Australians are behind 2-3, so Rinky Hijikata will be serving to draw level again. But last year Hijikata given a wild card into the Australian Open qualifiers and wasn't able to make it into the main draw, as far as I remember. But I just want to go straight into his stats. And for those of you that are here for the first time, or you've not seen any of our content so far, so long as we've been going, the stat that we like to use, and the reason I choose this one stat is it doesn't tell the whole story, but what I like to do, because stats don't really float my boat, they tend to sink it, that this particular stat I find is a good indication, as the Australians are suddenly 30 love up in this 6th game. And if it's Rinky Hijikata, he's got we like to look at break points on serve and break points converted against an opponent. So now that Hijikata's serving, I can tell you that in 2023, his serves break points faced, he's saving 67% of the time. 67% of the time an opponent is trying to break his serve, he's saving those points. And he's having a great service game here. He's up 40 love on his serve, and you can bank on the Australians converting this 40 love lead into a saving this service game. And I'll just wait here for the browser to refresh. Yep, they've gone bang, 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 just as easy as that. And that's the first time I've ever had a live score back me up with the stats. This is a stat that I use all the time. Now, if we look at Hijikata's break point conversion rate, it's a little bit low. And no surprise there. If you're in the top 200 on the ATP Tour, well, breaking the service game of your opponent is going to be key for getting up the rankings and getting into Grand Slams and the like. He's only converting 38% of the time. Last year, he was converting 56% of the time. So it's quite possible. The reason those stats don't match up is because obviously, it's so early in the new year, whereas the stats for 2022, a full year of all services. So we can't read too much into that. And I tend not to. Now, in so far as what's the score, I can hear you thinking 3 games all in the first set and 15 all. So, bit of a crucial moment in the first set coming up. I tell you, the Australians would be really keen to break serve here against the Argentinian and the Spaniard. These guys, they're not number 8 seeds for... they're number 8 seeds for a reason, I should be saying. So 15 all, this must be a long point. And it's gone the way of the Australians. They've gone up 30-15. And that's the first time during this during this match, I think they're actually leading a service game of their opponents. So we'll stick with the score as it's refreshing, and we'll just leave Rinky's profile and stats on break points for a second. Crucial game here. This could really help them spring into a 4-3 lead, and then get on their serve and then go 5-3 up. But they've dropped the point. The Argentinian, the number 8 seeds, and the Spaniard, they've managed to draw level at 30 all. The first set, just heading into the 25th minute. And interestingly, that medical timeout doesn't seem to have affected the quality of play for the Spaniard and the Argentinian. So that's good, because you get to the semi-final of a Grand Slam, you want to you want to have a clear run at it with everything considered. The Australians have just taken it to 40-30. So this is their first break point of the match, and they've saved one break point on their own serve. So this is going to be a really nice little development for them if they can take this next point and break the serve of the number 8 seeds, and you're on Rod Laver Arena on your home court in front of your home crowd at your home Grand Slam. They'll be feeling very pleased with themselves, very confident they've done it. There you go. The Australians have broken for the first time, and they'll be going down. There might be a break here. Change of ends. Spit it out. 4-3. The Australians have gone up, and if they can hold on to their serve, and I can't apologise with the online score websites don't tell you who's serving. They've just got it summarised as a team. So whether it's Kubler or Hijikata, well, I'm not too concerned about which one it is, because they're very even, these guys. Hijikata 21, Kubler 29. They're leading 4-3. They came in as wildcards, and they they picked up their wild card at the front desk, and the ATO, the Australian Open staff, Craig Tiley, said, "Sorry guys, you're unseeded. You're going to have to fight your way through." Well, they shrugged their shoulders and went straight to the locker room and suited up, and here they are. And they are playing their first ever Grand Slam semi-final as doubles players, and it's just as prestigious as a singles title, I would think. As a professional tennis player, it's a great milestone to get this far. And for the young bloke, Hijikata, Rinky, at 21, what a great achievement. This will do him the world of good to be getting this experience, getting this exposure, and experiencing this kind of pressure. And Jason Kubler, what a tough nut he is. If you think back to those knee injuries that he's had and had to endure, and they're off and running in this service game, the Australians. They're up 15 love, and we want to see that go to 30 love straight away. So we'll stick with the score, and I'm just going to fill in time here watching these score updates. But Jason Kubler, remarkable comeback from chronic knee injuries, and that wouldn't be fun to have a hereditary knee condition, a hereditary condition of any kind, and they've done it. 30 love up. So I'm hoping that Rod Laver Arena is, well, at least, packed as far as it can be towards capacity, because once I saw the highlights of the quarterfinal last night at Kia Arena, I was incredibly surprised and felt a bit sad for these guys at their home slam, that Kia Arena only holds 5,000 people, and there was lucky to be 500 from what I could see. And such a great stadium, unveiled and opened last year. They've gone up 40 love. We could be on the brink of a upset for the first set with these guys. They're up 40 love. They want to go from 4-3. They want to go to a 5-3 lead. blitzed the first set yesterday in way less than 30 minutes, picking up that set 6-3. And this set has been going 29 minutes, and these blokes are already 40. Well, they've dropped a point, but that's okay. They went to 40 love, and the number 8 seeds have pulled one back. It's 40-15, but they got a chance. They want to wrap this up with this point and send the crowd into delirium, because I hope most Australians, and especially for those that live in Melbourne, we're very lucky to live here. We're spoilt for choice. We have a lot of international events here, and the tennis, to have a Grand Slam in your backyard, it's a great opportunity to see and support these guys who are not really that well known, and that's one of the reasons we're following them, because they're going to be well known now. They've won that game. They are one game away, one service break away from taking out the first set. They didn't need any more time. It went love 15, love 30, love 40, and they won that game. It's now 5-3 to the Australians, and the combination of Granollers and Zeballos, Horacio and Marcel, the Argentine, the Spaniard, who've already had to have a lengthy delay in this match, not just the delay for the start time, but also a medical timeout if you're just joining us. And the Australians are up and at 'em. They're going in for the kill here, I think. They've just taken out the first point of this service game, and if they can take out this game and win the next 3 points, they are going to win the first set. Spit it out. What do you think in the comments? Tell us what you think. Are you watching this on the broadcast? What are you doing? Are you doing the washing or the ironing or mowing the lawn? If you're on the other side of the world, and it's winter wherever you are, or you're snowed in, or you're rained in, tell us. We want to know what you're doing while you're enjoying the tennis, whether it's with us or whether it's a combination of our commentary and the broadcast. So the Australians weren't able to win the next point. It's now 15-all. And we thank you for joining us. You can see people dropping in and out at various stages, just seeing what's going on. So we thank you for that. Don't be shy to drop us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are, what you think about the content, as the Australians fall behind 15-30 in this game. So come on, Aussies. We want to see you. Yep, and they've done it. Tell you what, Kubler and Hijikata, having only started watching them point by point yesterday, they've got a talent for wrapping up points quickly. So 5-3 up in the first set. It's 30-all, and if I was the number 8 seeds, I'd be feeling pretty nervous on my serve, especially with off the back of a medical timeout, because surely these guys know that the Australians they're not just not a pushover. They are confident in their the execution of their skills and their game, and the Australians are on the brink. They've got a set point. It's 40-30, the first set point of the match, the second break point of the match, and it's all in the Australians' favour at the moment. So we'll watch this update and just wait for things to pan out. The Australians are well practiced at this. Oh, they've dropped that point. It's back to deuce. So that's okay. No harm done there. They're still in the race. What they want to do is get it back to a break point for an opportunity to take out this first set. And if I was there, if I was there courtside, I'd be feeling very calm myself as a spectator. But as I was saying before, the exposure for these two blokes, the experience to be playing under this kind of for these stakes at this level in your debut semi-final. Now, what I like about Kubler is he's been around the traps for a long time at 29. He probably started playing professional tennis when he was about 18, 17 or 18. He was a world junior #1, and that's why the Australians have gone up advantage a second break point to take the first set. At 34 minutes, this first set's been going, and Kubler and Hijikata, I tell you what, they're the names don't roll off the tongue that easy, but the shots are coming off the racket as smooth as you like. The highlights package I watched late yesterday, it was all about the Australians, and there was only one shot highlighted in the package of the #1 seeds, and they spent a lot of time dancing around the back of the court, returning smashes, returning lobs, watching balls go wide into the tram lines, and the Australians are fighting this game out because the #8 seeds have pulled back a point, so it's deuce again for the second time in this game, and this game going at length. They're not telling me how long the games go for, actually, that I can work out just yet. But the first set, 34 minutes, going a little bit longer if you count the medical timeout. So just waiting to see how this first set pans out. And the Australians will be pretty confident. I think as a combination, they must fit together very well. And the Australians have dropped a point. The #8 seeds have gone up advantage. So will they fight to live another game, these #8 seeds? Hopefully the Australians can turn it round. It'd be great if Rod Laver Arena is packed to the rafters, or at least half full. It's a 15,000 seat stadium, and it'd be nice if it was bulging with Australian supporters. And unfortunately for the Australians, they've lost that game. The service game was held by the #8 seeds, so it's 5-4. So that's no drama in of itself, because the Australians now get to serve for the first set, and they haven't had their serve broken. They have faced a break point, but they saved it. But that is the only I've lost my train of thought. So I was just flicking around the stats page, and I just saw that the third game, where is it? The third game of the first set is marked lost serve. So that would have been a break of serve to the Australians to get them up. Oh, what's that saying? 5-4. Okay, so the Australians are serving. I thought it had suddenly gone. The first set was 1. I'd missed something because I was just talking without watching. So I appreciate your patience while you're listening. It's very much appreciated. If you've got any comments, if you're one of our 51 subscribers, you can drop a comment in the chat box. It'll go live straight away. If you're not a subscriber and you want to drop a line, it will be a 20-minute wait, as the way I've set it up. But on the court, we're just waiting for them to resume. It must have been a change of ends, and the Australians are serving, and the first point has been lost. So at 5-4 up, the Australians are love 15 down in this crucial game of the first set, because they're serving to get to that 6-4 lead and get into the second set, and they want to take all before them, these guys. And also in the back of their minds, as they win the next point and go 15 all, the Australians, although they were, I was really impressed with their energy levels yesterday, the dynamic nature of their body language, and the way they were moving quickly between courts. And I don't know if it's the excitement of being in a quarterfinal, the adrenaline pushing them through, as we just wait to see how this next point plays out. But they were running. These guys have just gone 30-15 up in this game. They're 2 points away from winning this first set. But to finish what I was saying, they were running to their chairs for the change of ends. And I suppose you're going to see that more and more in professional sport. Tennis, you don't often see that, people running to their chairs. But it was very noticeable that they were really making sure their energy levels were nice and positive. I do remember John Newcombe once commenting on Mark Philippoussis back in the 90s that he just wished Mark Philippoussis would bounce around a bit on the balls of his toes while he was playing. Now, the Australians have gone up 40-15. They're serving for the set. They've got 2 set points. They can close this game out and go 6-4 up in this match and cement their spot, leading the way towards their first ever Grand Slam final. And at 40-15, I like the chances here. If you're an Australian supporter, they've done it. The Australians have done it. Hijikata and Kubler, Jason Rinky. Excellent start to this match. 6-4. They faced down some real pressure from the number 8 seeds because, let's face it, they faced 1 break point of serve. They had 2 opportunities to break serve a second time of the number 8 seeds. They didn't quite do it to go 5-3 up, but they've cleaned up in good time. That game went very quickly. They only needed, they only needed, 5 serves, or 4 serves really. Love 15, 30-15 in third point, and then set point, bang, gone. Thank you very much. They've managed to clean that up. So I hope the local crowd there is making a lot of noise and giving them a lot to be encouraged about. I'm just going to take a quick break, and a break as in change the screen there for you. So that first set kind of got away from us a little bit. We were able to talk a little bit about the stats on break points faced by Rinky Hijikata, and also break points converted. So this set, the second set, we'll be spending looking at similar for Jason Kubler, but I'm not going to spend too much time mucking around with stats and bios and the thing, because one thing I learnt yesterday as I was listening back, just doing a bit of a self-audit of the recording of yesterday's live stream, I realised I was just spending a little bit too much time possibly looking for information, and if people were listening, possibly they weren't up to date with the score, and there's probably nothing more frustrating. So we'll stick closely here as the number 8 seeds lead off in the first game of the second set, and the Australians have come back with the second point of this game. It's now 15-all, and I think these first 2 to 3 games will tell us a lot about the mindset of the Australians. But if I can just dip back into the topic about their body language in yesterday's match, I think these guys are deliberately really high energy for a reason. Because they're battlers, and I'm saying that in a complimentary way. I'm not saying that they're struggling and don't quite belong at this level. I'd say it the opposite, because Kubler's really out to work very hard to get himself back on the court. That his injury has nearly ended his career, and for a professional tennis player, as they go 40-15 down, 15-40 down, the Australians, that on the service game of the number 8 seeds, Kubler has done a mighty job to get his body right with swimming and cycling. programs to get the weight off his knees. But imagine that, being a professional athlete, and your job is to spend most of the year running around on hard surfaces, and you've already had 4 knee operations on both knees over the journey. Since you're a teenager and you know you've got a hereditary condition, but it hasn't stopped him from bringing a point back. The Australians are now 30-40. If they can just take this next point and put some more pressure on the Argentinian and the Spaniard, the Argentinian Zeballos having a medical timeout very early on in this particular match after 3 games. They've done it. The Australians are back to juice. So they've come back from love 30 down, I think it was, and it's juice now on the serve of the number 8 seeds. And I tell you what, I'm not overly optimistic at the best of times, really. It's I'm a glass half full kind of guy. But you want to see the Australians win through, and you want to cheer them on and see them do well, especially in such a unique environment as their home Grand Slam. And just as I say that, they've gone to their first break point, the Australians, of the second set, and it's the first game, and it's only been going 5 minutes, and already the Australians are putting pressure on these guys, the Spaniard and the Argentinian, and I'm hoping that the next point that comes up, we'll see the Australians go 1-love up in this second set, breaking the serve for the second time of these number 8 seeds. And why not? Because yesterday, what I saw of the demolition job, the way that they cleaned up those number 1 seeds, Koolhof and Skupski from the UK and the Netherlands, they've done it. They have done it. So if I had a glass, I'd be putting it down right now. That is fantastic to see the Australians cleaning up the first set 6-4 in 40 minutes. It's only taken them 6 minutes to take the first game of the second set, breaking the serve of the number 8 seeds, and it's all coming together for these guys. So I would say from the point of view of mental fortitude and the capacity to drive home the advantage, I think these guys would like their chances from here, because Kubler was serving bombs yesterday. he was really hitting his straps yesterday. Now, a short bit of housekeeping that I forgot about earlier. The other thing I wanted to get going today was cliche bingo. If you're playing along at home, count up how many sporting cliches are going to be coming out of my mouth during this match. The Australians serving the second game of the second set. They're up 15-love. Now, it could well be, this could go either way, couldn't it? Like you could see a really hard-fought set here that the number 8 seeds will dig in. But at the same time, like I wouldn't be surprised if the Australians just run these guys through without mercy. And they're already 30-love up. Why not? Why not? I'll just swap this screen over for you, just to keep it interesting. In case you're wondering about the live stream here, I'm using a software, Open Broadcast Studio, OBS. The main reason because it's free, and I was trying last year a couple of times as we wait for the Australians to play out this next point, and they've just dropped a point on serve, so 30-15 in the second game of the second set. Tried a couple of times last year to get up a live stream using a Sony vlogging camera hooked up to a laptop, and the software wouldn't accept the camera, or the camera, it just wouldn't integrate. And for all the chat boards and the experts who specialize in a particular kind of video content that helps people like me get these things up and running, I've been left hanging, that I just cannot find a solution from all these people around the world that put out this sort of content. And Sony was the same. Tried it briefly again last night, but so I do apologise for the really low quality of the stream, as the Australians go 40-30 in the second game of the second set, and it's 9 minutes now played in the second set. So I do apologise, and I'll just explain a little bit more once this. I think these Australians will take out this second game. They'll be going 2-love. A 2-love lead in the second set after taking out the first set 6-4. This must be a slightly longer point. But yesterday they went at a cracking pace, the Australians. Are very, very quick service games, and there was only one really lengthy game. Still 40-30 in this particular game. The match has been running 50 minutes, and they've pulled a point back, the number 8 seeds. So it is deuce. So the Australians will be keen to assert their authority. But yeah, I apologise for the quality of the stream. It's meant to be audio only. I have tried. I wanted to put videos on this particular screen, taking advantage of the footage that's been shot around Melbourne Park before the Australian Open, during the Australian Open qualifiers, and also the qualifiers at 2 country regional venues, and also the Wheelchair Open, 2 of those down at Cranbourne, and also the last 2 days of qualifying last year. So we've got a lot of footage. A lot of it's already on the platform. But I wanted to keep it interesting for you, as the Australians, they've managed to get up to a advantage, and hopefully they'll close this out with this particular point, because the last thing these guys want is for the service game to be seesawing backwards and forwards between advantage and deuce, and break point and deuce and advantage. We don't want to see that at all for these guys. Yep, they've done it. 2-0 up in the second set. So if they can break this next service game, and I'm tipping that they're having a change of ends at the moment, and a sit down and reviewing their strategy, and having a banana or a fruit, not a fruit bar, an energy bar. The stream is currently not up to our usual standard. The high quality, the footage being 4K. The audio is through the laptop instead of the Sony vlogging camera. So I apologise there. Last year I decided not to do any live streams for that reason, because we take a bit of pride in the quality of the content, not just the type of content, but also the quality. But really wanted to have a crack at it this year. And we want to put out live stream content that's differentiated from everyone else. There's enough talking heads on the internet sitting in front of web cameras and GoPros and ring lights and flashy lights in the background and whatever, but there's nobody doing content like Wise Words Media and this particular platform, and that's our point of difference from all the other content creators and the mainstream broadcasting. We want to bring something different to the table, and so this is how we approach things. So the live streams are not our they're not our main product, but the other thing is we're just waiting for the next game to resume, and the Australians have broken through for the first point of this service game of their opponents. They're up 15-love, but the live stream actually gives us a chance to comment and create content as the Open is playing out live, and as the Australians are now 30-love up in this third game of the second set. So if they can break serve here, I'd be I'd be getting pretty confident that they'll hold their next service game and go 4-love up and romp their way home in this semi-final and get through to their debut Grand Slam final. But anyway, that's a long way away yet. Can't get too far ahead of ourselves. But yeah, one issue that this platform had last year was it's very hard to churn out content daily, because even a short episode does take a bit of time to put together and edit and process and render and then upload, and then it processes online. So churning out updated content on a daily basis, or even twice every day, is pretty difficult. We're just a small media production house, as the Australians are now it's level 30 all in the third game of this second set. The Australians have dropped 3 points in a row, 2 points in a row after leading 30-love. They'd be wanting to take advantage of the doubts that are starting to ferment in the minds of the number 8 seeds, the Argentinian Zeballos and the Spaniard Granollers, Marcel and Horacio, and they've stood up. They've said, no way, not this particular point. We want to take out our service game and bring back a bit of sanity to this semi-final from a Spanish language point of view. So they're leading 40-30 in this third game of the second set. The live stream gives us a chance to put out content and try and connect. The other reason about the strategy of a live stream is to try and connect with more people more quickly. So it's possible that as the Australians fail to earn a break point in that service game of the number 8 seeds, so 2-1 up. If they can hold serve here, it'll be a comfortable 3-1 lead, because the great thing about even though they weren't able to break serve in this particular game, they're out in front because they broke the first service game of their opponents, and they're out in front. And from here, all they have to do is hold serve, and it'll be another 6-4 win of this for this match, which will get them through to the final. So the only downside or possible negative point about the strategy that we've got over the last 2 days is that there's a very high demand of viewers for high quality content, and you can't deny that people expect an extremely high quality for these sort of platforms, and you can't blame them. So it might be, and also the audio. So if people are turned off, well, that's their choice. But just while we wait for the Australians to start their next service game, it's worth commenting. One thing that occurred to us the other day was that there's no harm putting out footage that was shot a year ago, because one of our advantages for our strategy is that we're out on site and capture footage live, and then we bring it back to share it with yourselves, our subscribers, the viewers, the listeners. If you're listening on the podcast, we share it as we record it, and there's not many people doing that. And I would rather put out that sort of content than be just one more talking head in front of a webcam, fronting a computer, sitting in a room by myself with a Ring camera blinding me. I do, as an example, and I'll just update the score here. 2-1, the Australians lead in the second set. They're serving, and it's 15 all. They won the first set 6-4 in 40 minutes. We've been going 20 minutes in the second set. This match between Rinky Hijikata and Jason Kubler of Australia, and the Spaniard Horacio Zeballos and MarcelGranollers of Spain. But look, I follow a couple of platforms myself. One being the Celtic, Celtic fan media, and you can't help but notice these guys are always sat in a room by themselves, in front of a web camera or a camera, or however they do it. They might chat to other people during certain episodes, but those guys are also sitting by themselves in a room in front of a camera, in front of a ring light, as the Australians are now 30 all on their serve. They'd be wanting to win the next point. They wouldn't be wanting to face a break point at this stage, having built an early advantage in this second set. They're 2-1 up, and we'll just stick with this for the moment, waiting for it to update. The match is just about to tick over for an hour, and it's extremely pleasant conditions for Grand Slam tennis, with the temperature outside a very nice, it's low 20s today, which is very unusual for Melbourne at this time of year. If you're a tennis fan and you follow the Grand Slams, you're probably as familiar with the weather as we are, and thank goodness the score has ticked over to 40-30. The Australians just 1 point away from going to a 3-1 lead. So yeah, those fan media blokes in Scotland following Celtic, and they only talk about one topic, and they only talk about the same topics and ask the same questions every week, every year, as I've learnt. Now, in following Celtic, I found another fan media content platform, and just on that topic of blokes sitting in a room by themselves talking in front of a camera, this particular bloke had a niche covering the whole Scottish football league, but he actually only highlights on his live streams. He talks about he follows Celtic and Rangers matches in Scotland on a live stream, and just sits in front of a camera, a handheld camera, not a webcam, but a handheld camera, without any degree of quality or finesse or microphone. It looks like he's sitting in front of his wardrobe, and he's got hundreds of thousands of followers in his live stream. So getting back to the reason we're here, the Australians went through that service game reasonably comfortably. The games since the first games are going on serve. The Australians quite comfortable with their service games. They have had to work for their winning their service games a tiny bit harder than yesterday. There was only one breaker serve in the first set, and it was the seventh game of the first set. The only break of serve that happened was the Australians broke through, and that was all they needed. And then about 2 games later, was it 2 games later? 2 service games later, they cracked it for another break of serve and got the opponents on the back foot straight away in the second set, and said, "Thank you very much. We'll take the lead here, fellas." So the Australians, you got to admire their mindset today. They've clearly gone out very positive. They're clearly feeling very comfortable in their skin as they go about their business with these guys. And having said that, the service game of the number 8 seeds, they're 30 love up. They're 30 love up. Dear, oh dear. Now, the second set's been going about 20 minutes. We just a few minutes ago ticked over into the second hour of this match. And look, if I was a betting man, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd be starting to think about putting short money on short odds for the Australians to take it out from here. And I'm pretty sure they will, because they've just broken a point off the serve of the number 8 seeds. I'm sorry that I can't tell you who is serving. I'm not watching the match on a broadcast, live TV, or on a browser. I'm just watching the live scores as they tick over, and keeping you up to date with what the score is. 3-1 the Australians lead as this point's being played out. They're 15 love down to the number 8 seeds, who would be wanting desperately, the longer this set goes on, the more desperate they'll be to get back a break of serve. So they'll be keen to hold their serves, the number 8 seeds at the moment. I'm unable to tell you which player is serving because the doubles isn't broken down by server on this particular browser, and neither is it on Google Stats. And I haven't actually dipped into the Australian. Oh, let's have a look at the Australian Open site. Well, no, that's the same. They just indicate which. They just indicate which. Now, what's going on here? They just indicate which. I've got to refresh that. That's I'm looking at the ATP site, and it hadn't refreshed since I was away from it. So, in all of that, whoever it was that was serving, I'm pretty sure they won that service game for themselves, which they did. I've got to refresh the browser here, and the Australians are up 3-2. The Australians are up 3-2. If it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I'm just waiting for the screen to refresh to tell me the Australians are now into their next service game. This will be the 6th game of the second set, as it's just about to hit 25 minutes. And back to the same topic I was on before. I can't tell you which one of the pair out of Kubler and Hijikata is serving. Apologies there. It's just denoted by team. So the Australians, the Wildcards, they've come in unseeded, and I'm going to keep saying that until they win the championship. That's what we want them to do, because as an Australian tennis fan, it's easy for me to say that it's already been done. It will not be the first time that unseeded Australians have won the men's doubles Grand Slam at the Australian Open, because guess what? Last year it was the human headline himself, box office Nick Kyrgios, partnering with classy Tanasi Kokkinakis. They came from nowhere and built up such momentum. They were impossible. They were irrepressible, those two guys. And they took out the number 2 seeds at one point, the number 1 seeds at a very early point, and they just served up a storm and rode a wave of goodwill. And it was nice to see Nick with a smile on his face, because pretty much every photo you see of box office Nick Kyrgios, he's got some kind of a snarl. he's trying to let us know that he's a bit of a thug, a bit of a pretend thug, or whatever. And g'day, Carolyn. Carolyn B. Thanks for taking advantage of the chat facility. Apologies if you've been there for a while, that I've only just seen your comment. How you going? And thank you. I'll just say thank you very much for your contribution. Far too generous, far too kind. That I hadn't got back to you. I apologise. That as you can probably tell, I've been flat chat, churning out some content there. So thanks for joining us. Hope you're enjoying the match, wherever you are, whether you're on site or watching a broadcast somewhere. But thanks for keeping us company. We've had a few people in and out, and mostly out. But unlike the Australians, what's your thoughts, Carolyn B? I like the chances of the Australians going straight through here. To be honest, they're serving 40 love up. Good grief. They've gone bang, bang, bang to 40 love up. They're on the brink of a 4-2 lead. I think from here, they're a very good chance to go straight through this match in perfect conditions. Rod Laver. Today's the kind of day I wouldn't mind sitting courtside watching these guys. Sitting on hot plastic seats aren't really my thing in the sun. Being Irish on both sides, I get sunburnt when they read out the weather forecast. As the Australians go to a 4-2 lead in the second set, Again, they're churning through. They're going a little bit slower than yesterday, that they took out the first set 6-3 in their quarterfinal in less than 25 minutes. And today, going a little bit slower, but no less effective. They're going about their work extremely efficiently, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think they're doing a great job here today. As far as the energy levels go for these guys, started on this topic a little bit earlier and didn't get to finish it, so I better crack on to that now, because I'm tipping the next two service games are going the Australians' way. But Hijikata and Kubler, the energy levels that I saw yesterday, I was thinking, well, they want to be they wouldn't want to be bouncing around too much, although most 21-year-olds do, don't they, as Rinky being 21. But I'm just going to change over the background screen here and interrupt myself. There we go. As we were saying earlier, that this match taking place barely 24 hours, less than 24 hours after they finished their quarterfinal, and that's due to the rain last week and all the matches that were delayed because of rain. No matches taking place on the outside courts, with only Margaret Court Arena and Rod Laver Arena having the retractable roofing. So the pressure's on these guys, and I was wondering aloud to myself today while I was waiting for this delayed match to start today, this semi-final, whether that was a factor in the number one seeds doing so poorly, because those blokes, I found out, they won 22 titles last year, Koolhof and Skupski, and that was the baseline that they were coming off into their number one seeding at this tournament. So I was wondering, well, did they have enough in the legs? Did they get enough rest in between their matches? So that's where I like the Australians at this stage, because I think any 21-year-old is going to have energy to burn, and I'm loving seeing Rinky burning up his energy on Rod Laver Arena instead of next to Nick Kyrgios on the dance floor of whatever nightclub he's decided to go out to on any particular night, whether his girlfriend's there or not. Now, 40-15 up, the Australians to go to a 5-2 lead. They've only faced one break of serve in this match. No break points faced in this second set, which has been going half an hour, and they've done it. Have they? I'm reading it wrong. They've earned a break point. Come on, get with it. That's what happens every time I talk about Nick Kyrgios. I get distracted because it's never about tennis with him. It's everything else but. The Australians have got 2 break points. They're about to go to a 5-2 lead if they can wrap this service game up. And it must be that the medical timeout early on in the fourth game of the first set must have been a factor for HoracioZeballos. Surely the Australians can wrap up this game. It must be a long point because the scores are refreshing. And there's a good example of me not paying attention. They've done it. I'm well and truly on track this time. The Australians are powering through, and wouldn't you believe it that they're repeating their performance of yesterday. They are absolutely chewing up the scenery in the second set because look out, they're on Showtime. Rod Laver Arena, centre court on a sunny Australia Day. Happy Australia Day, everyone. Rod Laver Arena, the Australian Open. The first day of the majority of every Australian has a long weekend on Australia Day, and I hope that most of Melbourne's tennis-loving population is there at Rod Laver Arena and backing these blokes in for a historic and memorable and unexpected, unbelievable performance by these guys at AO23. it's just fantastic. I'm just so pleased for Jason Kubler with the run that he's had. It's so fantastic to see this bloke get through off the back of such a long run of injuries. I wish I knew who was serving out of Kubler and Hijikata. But look, it doesn't really matter because if it's Hijikata serving, no doubt he's serving just as well at just a high level. We'll be going through the stats after this match is over, and I'm tipping that it's going to be over reasonably soon as the Australians, the unseeded wildcards, say, yep, we're going for it. They're going to wrap up this match by serving out this game. They're 15 love up, and going back to yesterday, they absolutely raced through the second set, 6-1. It took them a little bit longer in terms of time, but in terms of results produced, 6-1 after a 6-3 lead, and today is looking like almost a mirror image. And they only needed to break serve. They've done it 3 times. The Australians, they've broken serve 3 times in this match as the number 8 seeds pull back 1 point. And so it's been a short but sweet stay here at the at Broadcast Central here at the production house, the production studios in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. But we're only a short express train ride away from Melbourne Park, and we are sending a lot of good cheer towards Rod Laver Arena. We want these guys to wrap it up right now so we can reflect on an amazing achievement. Kubler, the injury-prone journeyman, much like Kokonakis last year, who finally seems to be getting over his injury troubles, and the young gun Hijikata partnering Kubler. It's great to see a young guy coming through, backing himself and believing in his abilities. As it's match point, it's the red zone for the Australians. They've put the number 8 seats into the corner, and they are going for broke. The knockout punch, the knockout blow, and I'm sorry, Horacio and Marcel, there is no referee coming in to blow the whistle and break up this bout. These guys are going for the knockout punch, and hope to see that go right now. 40-15. They've only lost 1 point in this final game. This is going to be the semi-final for the Australians. Wrapping it up, they're going into their first ever Grand Slam final, hopefully on this point. Hopefully they'll only need the 1 match point served. They're up 2 points up. No, they've lost that particular point. The number 8 seeds have pulled that back. It's 40-30, and you've got to admire the professionalism and the hard-headedness of the number 8 seeds to stand up and say, no, well, we're not going to give it, we're not going to throw it away, and we're not going to give it away. You've got to earn it. And I'm tipping that this next point will see the Australians through to to their second visit to Rod Laver Arena for the Grand Slam final for the men's doubles on the ATP Tour. Come on, guys, you can do it. We want to see you win. We want to see you through, and they've done it. Have they done it? 6-2 in the second set. That's it for the Australians. Hijikata, Rinky, take a bow. Jason Kubler, well done. Well done you. That's fantastic. Rinky Hijikata, the 21-year-old, partnering Jason Kubler, who must be pinching himself to be in this situation after so many years of struggling with bung knees and dodgy meniscus tears in each knee. It's just such a great, that's just fantastic to see. That absolutely ripping result for these guys, that they've done it in such fashion. Imagine coming through your debut quarterfinal to be able to come into your debut semi-final and back it up with just about the same result. That match went 1 hour, 18 minutes. They've not dropped a set in their last 2 games, which have been Grand Slam finals. How good is that going to look on the CV? I was just about to say in the pool room, but I would print out those stats for both of those games, and I would frame it and put them in the pool room. So the second set, 6-2 in 38 minutes, off the back of a 40-minute first set, 6-4. They only needed 2 match points, and I think it's the same as yesterday with these guys, that they only needed 1 match point. And doesn't that say a lot for the belief in their ability and the belief in their game? And that's just amazing. I agree. Carolyn B, isn't it? Are we being spoilt at the moment by our Aussie men? The last couple of years, are they giving us a little bit too much? I'm not used to this much success. I'm not used to seeing Australian players this successful in week 2 of a Grand Slam tournament at Melbourne Park. That's just fantastic. I'm so pleased. That is brilliant. So I hope that the crowd is giving it right up for these Australians. I hope they're got broad smiles on their faces, and that they're sitting back and just thinking, how good is this? So we're going to take a break. I'm going to get a glass of water, calm down a bit, same as yesterday. So stick around, because I'm coming right back, and we'll just sit back and reflect on one of the greatest Australian results in successive years. Australian men have managed to win their semi-final match. Rinky Hijikata, Jason Kubler have defeated the number 8 seeds, Marcel Granollers from Spain and HoracioZeballos of Argentina. Don't go away, we'll be right back. G'day and welcome back to this live stream. This Australian Open live. We tell stories, and our story is tennis. And our tennis story today is live. It's our second day in a row doing a live stream. How did that happen? And we've just witnessed what a great way to start off a new way of sharing Australian Open stories with not just the Australian tennis community, tennis fans, but we're sharing with the world live from Melbourne that we've just witnessed a match that it's taken me by surprise. I don't know about you guys, but what a great way to celebrate Australia Day with the unseeded Australian pair. The unseeded Australian pair, Rinky Hijikata and Jason Kubler, have just absolutely... I can't really say they wiped the court with their opponents, the number 8 seeds, the Argentinian Horacio, Zeballos, and the Spaniard MarcelGranollers. 6-4 the first set, 6-2 the second set. 2 sets to love winners, and they've wrapped it up in an hour and just shy of 20 minutes. So, great work by the Australians. They are emulating everybody's favourite human headline and his partner last year, Kyrgios and Kokkinakis. Can it happen 2 years in a row? Can another Australian pair of men win the Grand Slam title at the Australian Open? Well, look, I reckon they can. I reckon they can. Now, I'm not the most. I'm more a glass half full type of guy. I'm not the most not the most positive in the the grand scheme of things. But I think they can do it. But let's just spend a tiny bit of time. Reflecting on this match and have a look at the stats, because stats do tell a story. And let's see what the story is here behind the headline score of 6-4, 6-2. The Australians taking out this match, and the aces reasonably even, 3-4 in favour of the number 8 seeds. The Australians were peerless yesterday with their serving. Today they did have the one double fault, and it was very even on the first serves. Very even. Now, here's the first story of the match. 69% first serves in, both doubles teams. The percentage win on first serve, again, very even, 73%. Of first serves that went in, the Australians won it, and they were only 4% better than their opponents. Now, here's a big stat. Does this tell a story of the strength of the Australian serve? Because the amount of times the Australians won on their second serve was 75%, and they were going at 30% better than their opponents. That's huge. They won their break points. They won they won 2/3 of their break points, and their opponents didn't win any. Interestingly, let's look to the next one, the most interesting one. But the next few are interesting. They won 5 more receiving points. So against their opponents, they took 5 more points off their opponents than vice versa. And they won 12 more points than their opponents. It was very even in terms of games in a row won, but the maximum number of points in a row, can't really separate them there. So, look, for me, it was the serving on the second serve, by the looks of it, is really what got the Australians through. So, it really seems to be the Australians have just ice in their veins when it comes to their serves, because I would say in a high stakes game like a Grand Slam semi-final, in your home Grand Slam, and we know the kind of pressure that Australian players come under, and not many of them handle it very well. I always thought that Sam Stosur was a far worse. That's not really fair to say worse. She was a far different player at home than she was overseas. She nearly won a French Grand Slam on clay. Very hard for Australians to do. She was in the final, lost that, won a Grand Slam in America. It's very hard to take all that pressure through to a Grand Slam final. Now, that's I'm thinking of singles, but that doesn't mean doubles is any less, any more easier to win. But for the Australians, gee whiz, what a fantastic effort by these guys. They defeated up until now, and I'm just going to drag this stat up again if I can find it. So just chat amongst yourselves for a second. No, look, I won't look for that. But from memory, these guys have defeated 5 top 20 teams before this match. So if you now that makes 6 today. That's 6 today that they've defeated 6 top 5 teams to get to their debut Grand Slam final. Well, gee whiz, I reckon they're a big chance to carry on, because clearly, that they are made of some. They're incredibly resilient mentally, which I think counts for a lot at this level for these guys. So that's the story of the stats. And let me know in the comments, if you're a subscriber, what your thoughts are on this match, or drop some comments below later on. You don't have to drop them in the chat now. And just so you know, I did put a note in there, but if you do want to contribute at any stage to these live streams, you do need to be a subscriber. There's a 20-minute wait that I've put on, that you won't be able to comment for 20 minutes after joining. But don't be shy. It's all about a conversation. And believe it or not, I actually don't like talking to myself. And I'd rather hear the thoughts of those who possibly know a little bit more about tennis than I do. And I'd love to hear the thoughts of those who are joining the stream or looking at the content, or maybe you've just dropped by, thought you saw that there was a live stream going and you thought you'd drop by to see what was going on. So let us know your thoughts. It's a conversation we want to have. Interested in your thoughts and your insights. The Australian Open always gives us a hell of a lot of things to talk about and think about. Every year there's always going to be a breakthrough win or a breakthrough performance, and such is the case with these guys. And I'm just grateful to them that they timed their run just so I could do a live stream and celebrate their achievements. So we're going to take a final break, because although we've been going for a little while now, it would be remiss of me to finish this chat before having a quick look. Let's have a look at the opponents that the unseeded wildcards, the Australians, they're going to face. Their opponents in the Slam final. There's a Frenchman and I think an Austrian. And don't go away. We'll be right back. What we're going to do is just have a look at these opponents for the Australians, and then we'll wrap up. So we'll take a short break and be back as soon as we can. G'day and welcome back to this final part of the live stream today. We've just watched and witnessed and applauded and cheered, and we've ridden at home with the Australian pair who've just won their first ever semi-final at a Grand Slam in the men's doubles, the ATP Tour, and it'd just be the wrong thing to do to wrap up the chat here, wrap up the commentary without taking a look at their opponents to see who they are. So let's do that right now. Let's do that right now and just see who they're going to be playing, because today, the reason the Australians' match was delayed, the scheduled start was 2:30. They didn't get going till about 3:15 against the number 8 seeds, was because the previous double semi-final between Jeremy Chardy, a very well-known name around the traps, and his partner was Fabrice Martin. And they lost their semi-final in 3 sets to the combination of Hugo Nice, who is a resident of Monaco, and Jan Zielinski. Now, I've just had a quick look on the ATP Tour website, and I can't find a profile for Zielinski. Now, he's... Oh no, hang on. Hugo Nice is from France. I do beg your pardon. And Zielinski is from Nice. No, but the ATP Tour site says Hugo Nice is from Monaco. So regardless of where they're from, they won their way through to the Grand Slam final in 3 sets. They won 6-3, 7-5, 6-2. Now, that's a good sign for the Australians, who have absolutely blitzed their last 2 opponents in straight sets. The Australians won their quarterfinal against the number 1 seeds. They won 6-3, 6-1. And today they've taken out the number 8 seeds 6-4, 6-2. And they did it at a reasonable clip for a high-pressure semi-final at a Grand Slam. They got through in an hour and 20 minutes. So hopefully those guys will come out favourites against their Grand Slam final opponents, who, let's just see if I can see how long that match took. Oh, look, I can't see it here. Oh, I can't see it here in quick time. I'll just go to one more website. Bear with me, chat amongst yourselves. Yeah, it doesn't have the time there either. But look, a 3-set match and a semi-final, and no doubt those guys also played successive matches to get the draw back up to speed, because there were some delays last week given the rain and the lack of ability to get play done on the outside courts because of the rain. There was some constant rain over a day and a half to 2 days. So hopefully the Australians are already the Australians are already in the locker room going through their process of recovery, thinking maybe they've got an advantage going because their opponents were out in the court for an extra set. Now, we've been through the stats just prior to the last break, so we won't test your patience anymore. We have been going for an hour and 48 minutes, and it's been very much appreciated, everyone dropping in to have a look, see what's going on. And this live stream will be available for replay later on. If you weren't able to stop in with us all day today for the entirety, well, why not go back in and see what's going on when you've got the time. Just to let you know, I'll be trying to do a summary of this match with the last 5 minutes of the commentary up until match point. We've got something going and waiting to go public, go live with. We're supposed to go live tonight. Just a few issues around the type of footage we were using to go over the commentary, so you can expect that. So you know what this means, don't you? As we wrap things up, we're coming back for another live stream, and why not? Two Australians again in a Grand Slam final. It's the men's doubles again, and again they're unseeded, these guys. It's fantastic news if you're an Australian tennis fan, but it's also great news if you're a fan of tennis and sport in general, because these guys are putting on a real show, and whichever way the result goes, and it's going to be a good match, because these guys are on fire. But regardless of that, the whole rationale between that drives this Australian Open life is we love the stories around tennis, and the story of the day is that Hijikata, Rinky Hijikata, the 21-year-old from Sydney, and the journeyman Jason Kubler, the 29-year-old, they have powered in straight sets for the second successive match in a row, straight sets winners over the number one seeds yesterday, number 8 seeds today. And they got the job done. They were very efficient with their service games, really efficient. Once they got that break, they never lost their serve. They were very calm on the ball, and it's great to see. So you've been listening to the Bloke Who Walks, presenting this Australian Open live and the live stream of the men's doubles semi-final at Rod Laver Arena, Melbourne Park, and you've been great to keep us company today. So join us again for the Grand Slam doubles final, and we'll do it all again. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll chat to you very soon. Bye for now. And don't forget to drop any comments and give us your feedback.